I'm not sure if this will be a success. Oh, in fact, what we need to do is add some paths between these areas. So hold on, let's see what kind of paths can we do. We're going to do the concrete paths, yeah. I want it to be roughly in the middle. Similar to this, it doesn't have to be exactly in the middle. And in fact, having it exactly in the middle is probably quite impossible in a few ways. But we also want to disrupt as little as possible as well. We want them to line up. Oh, apparently the game won't let them line up properly. Oh well, we'll just do whatever the game will allow us to do then. Am I destroying some bus stops by doing this? I think I'm destroying some bus stops. Okay, we're going to have to sort that out. That's fine, we can sort that out. Oh man, I'm making quite a mess here, aren't I, with these paths? Oh well. There you go. Get pathed. Wait, is that actually even pathed up? Apparently not. There you go. Wonky paths all the way through. That looks absolutely hideous. I've kind of ruined that aesthetic, haven't I? Kind of. I mean, this is pretty hideous. Okay, so the whole thing as a whole, geometrically, is very nice. Unfortunately, I've then ruined it by doing some weird stuff. Maybe taxis count as a service. Let's have some taxi depots. And then some taxi stands. But the thing is, the taxi stands take quite a lot of space, so it's going to be interesting. Taxi depot can go next to... Yeah, and only knock down like 2 buildings. It can go next to the... next to the bus station, that makes sense. But look, right, so these taxi stands, look how much space they take up. They take up vast amounts of space. They're huge. I guess I can add one in now while there's no buildings here, but look, they're enormous. Let's add 2 taxi stands. Perfect. Where else should I add them? I don't think I should add them anywhere. Or maybe I should add one in front of the bus station. People get off the bus and want to use a taxi. Look, I just knocked down 2 buildings because they're so big. But they're so thin, despite being huge. It's so annoying that they exist in this fashion. However, we can now look at our taxi and see that no one's using it. Are any taxis actually in use? Apparently 12 are in use, but no one's using it currently. We'll have to wait a moment while that statistic updates. I'm hoping to encourage lots of tourism now. In fact, wait, is there a tourism thing on here? I genuinely don't know. Oh yeah, here, under outside connections, tourism. So, we have a little bit of tourism. What the hell? Oh, the Japanese garden apparently gets some tourists. So some people go extremely out of their way to go and visit the Japanese garden. Lovely. I think I have another Japanese garden in here as well. Yeah, I do. Apparently, there's tourist hotspots. I do have a coast. I would not call it a beach, necessarily. There's not enough sand there. Also, the water there is horrendously polluted. Speaking of which, I've not looked at my water situation in a while. Yep, I need to add another water tower. I'm just going to add it here. I do have the water treatment plants. Now, these are quite a bit more expensive. 800 per week. I guess they're twice as expensive as this, but the water they process is not twice as much. So they are worse value, but they will get rid of the stinky mess I'm creating. Maybe I want to keep the stinky mess. I have an idea of what I want to do with the stinky mess, but we won't be able to do it for a while because I don't have the money. Also, I don't have the tile space. I need to increase my population density in order to get more tiles, so let's just focus on doing that for the moment. By erasing, because look, the population has, I think, gone up overall after doing that, but it just kind of, this is a really lethargic way of doing it. Right, I've zoned up some more high density here. Population going to go down and it's going to go up again. And yeah, that's going to be it. Also, actually, because now this is no longer a... oh yeah, I put that road there. I actually don't want that road there, in fact, do I? Put that there ages ago. I actually don't want that at all. Because this area is no longer a massively high traffic area, I will happily zone in a bunch of stuff in this area now. We're going to mix everything, a little bit of everything together here. I should probably put a bit of industrial in there just for fun. But yeah, we're going to have, that's what we're going to have now. I suppose these walkways can also go away. They do kind of ruin the aesthetic a little bit, especially since there's like this nasty gap here. I'm not sure why that gap exists. Probably because I accidentally deleted it. But because this is not like a massively high traffic area anymore, I guess we don't need these. We can just have the regular crossings. And make this place look a bit tidier, can't we? And what we can do as well is we can add some pedestrian walkways, but add them like going across like this. So that just generally looks a lot tidier. There you go. That generally looks a lot nicer. And in fact, yep, let's zone up some high density residential in that weird, slightly TF2 logo-esque looking area. This area shall now be known as the TF2 logo. Wow, I just realized how uneven this thing is now. I think the game has shifted its shape over time and really screwed with its positionings. It is not straight at all, is it? I could replace it completely straight, actually. Is that worth it? I'm not sure if that's worth it. Well, for now, this is perfectly fine. Apparently, we're having problems with rubbish collection again. We could do with one more incinerator, I suppose. Let's place it sort of over here, sort of by itself, not near the other incinerators. We really do have a massive problem with workers, apparently. Oh, I love the flow of traffic. I love like how it's all sort of going up the screen now, because it kind of has to, because it all comes from here. It's such a shame that that is still causing enormous traffic jams on the highway. It's causing traffic jams because things stop quite regularly. I wish they didn't stop so regularly. Yeah, 26% full still. Nearly there. Not quite though, unfortunately. It's going to take absolutely forever. It's amazing the cemetery emptied so fast. The cemetery was very impressive at its emptying speed. We probably should add one more crematorium, sort of around this area, just to balance out the whole thing. But for now, it's fine. Let's have a look at healthcare coverage. That's good. Fire coverage. Ooh, we have a pretty empty spot over there. So what I probably should do is actually move this one, because that's unbalancing the whole thing, isn't it, I think? I'm not sure if it actually is, but I'm going to say that it is. Let's just try and place it somewhere that it knocks down relatively little stuff. There you go, that's probably the best position for it. The gap that it left, we can fill in with whatever is nearby. Yeah, let's get some commercial in there. So the fire coverage now should be somewhat more even around the city. I mean, there are still holes. I don't know if ever building a firehouse is ever worth it, because it's really hard to tell if the coverage is actually worth it in this layout. I don't think it is, generally. Generally don't think it is. Elementary education is suffering again. We should probably build an elementary school sort of here, on this corner somewhere. Try and knock down as few things as possible. Perfect, that'll do. I mean, everyone over here is pretty well educated as it is, but our capacity is dipping. And in fact, despite adding that one in elementary school, it's still dipping. High school education is doing okay, though. I think I have enough money now to try and decide what I want to do about the trains. What do I want to do about the trains? Well, I guess what I want to try and do with the trains is try and reduce traffic. If I don't reduce traffic, I'm not succeeding, because what I want to try and do is reduce the amount of traffic that flows in and reduce the amount of traffic that flows out somewhat. Although the out traffic is not a problem, as it turns out. Although some of these junctions are a little problematic because they're the first one that everyone wants to use. But the other ones get quite a lot of use as well, I think. Yeah, I mean, look, I just go to them and there are cars on them. It's not like they're empty by any means. So in order to do that, really, the only thing I could do is install the train station up here. And it has to be installed sort of right there in order to prevent horrendous traffic problems. So what I'm going to do right now is install it the cheapest way I know how to do, which is bang, plant it down, pause the game, and then just run a straight train line down the edge of the map as it currently stands and connect it up here. We need to connect it up in such a way that, yeah, like this, and then like this. Oh, come on. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Distance too short. What? Okay, that's awful. How about like this? Will it understand if I want to do this? Yeah, there we go. then... Oh, I hope I have enough money for this, but this is going to be quite hideous for the moment. In fact, we can do better than this. We can use this tool. There we go. And we can have this go over to be fancy. Look at this, how fancy. It's not straight at all, by the way. Now it's straight. That looks a little weird. That looks really quite weird. We need to fix that because I'm not happy with that. It looks too weird. There we go. That doesn't look too weird. Although we could actually make this a little bit... Okay, oh man. Me and my having to make things look a little less weird syndrome. It's definitely a syndrome. There's no two ways about that, I don't think. Okay, that looks a little weird. But less weird. So that's fine for now. I'll accept that, and then we just kind of have to, you know, continue this until it's done. Okay, this thing took a lot longer to build than I'd hoped, but I did it. I ended up doing some weird stuff over here to actually get it to work down the edge, because apparently this hill is way too steep for a train to use. But we now have a train connection. This will probably mean that a bunch of stuff will start upgrading, because that counts as another service, I'm pretty certain. This also means that hopefully there'll be slightly less traffic. Well, hopefully. I mean, there's a lot of abandoned buildings around here. I really should sort of tidy this mess up. Apparently there's a real problem with getting workers over here. And yet, despite that, there is still demand for, well, stuff in general. In a moment, we'll see like a horrendous influx of traffic. Now, one thing that can help with this is making this a one-way road, because that, you know, it gives the traffic a few more options, even though the AI generally doesn't make use of all those options. It doesn't really matter. It does help a little bit, but usually, yeah, traffic on the road where there is a train station is usually between terrible and horrendous. Oh man, people are just leaving. Stop abandoning your places, please. We'll come back in a moment. I've no doubt that the freight train will be in full swing. Is there a train actually even on the track? I've never actually noticed if there's even a train on the track. Can we see one? Presently, no. Maybe there's one on the way. We'll find out. I must admit, I really like the idea of having a small satellite just for a train station, but the problem is that means that to use the train station, all the traffic's going to end up on the highway, unless I did something very silly, and that will just make this worse, and it's already terrible, so we can't actually do that. Doing what I just did there is probably our only hope. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Wait, what? How is our nightlife street doing? It's built up quite well. We've got a few things here. Games for gamers. That sounds like a good thing. What we got on the front of it? It does not say games for gamers. That says Burn Bean Coffee. And that's another Burn Bean Coffee right there next to it. There's a lot of Burn Bean Coffees. What we got here? Milaz. Is that the joke? I'm not really sure. Is that meant to be like a hotel? I'm not really certain. But it seems like it's doing pretty well. Everything's happy. We've got lots of workers. Or maybe this is why the industrial sector doesn't have enough workers, because they're all working in commercial areas. Maybe. Thing is, I don't really have a good way for tourists to get here. If we look at... Oh, we go back to our... Which one was it? It's not this one. Where is it? Exports. It's this one. Tourism. So tourism in that area is a bit higher than everywhere else. We're only attracting low-wealth tourists right now, which is not really what you want. You want, you know, the people with the money, because that's kind of the point of tourism. You want to bring people who have money to your place so that they spend it, and then you have more money. Specifically, you have their money. In a legitimate way. You're not just, you know, taking it illegally. You're not just saying, give me your money, or else. You're saying, give me your money, and we'll give you some entertainment for a few hours. And we only have one street that's doing that. If we want to improve our tourism, what we will need is a passenger Train... Wait, did I... Wait a minute. I installed the wrong type of train station. Bugger. How much did that cost me? Quite a lot, and it's going to cost me quite a lot to fix it. So there are trains on here, but the problem is... This is the wrong type of train station. I probably should have moved that rather than deleted it. I installed the wrong type of train station. Well done me. Let's fix that quickly.